Hello! Welcome back to my channel. My name is Victoria. And welcome to my unhaul video and Pumpkin's searching for which toy she'd like to play with, which you will hear in the background. Yeah, so I want to do a big unhaul of my shelves. It's a little bit of a mess in here at the moment, but I just was kind of looking at my shelves and I was like, oh, there are books on this shelf that I'm never going to read or never going to reread. And I just think it's time to clear some out, make some space, and, you know, figure those things out. So I decided that I got the itch last week that I want to do an unhaul video. So that is what we're going to do this week. Simple, double, triple simples. So I want to do that. And then in addition to that, we'll also take you on setting up these books on Pango and things like that. Just kind of getting rid of some things that really just aren't serving my shelf, but might serve somebody else. So that is really what we're doing today. I don't know if I'm gonna go through all the shelves today or if we're gonna take this in chunks, but I guess let's go look at the bookshelf. What do you say, Pumpkin? Are you gonna come up? Wanna say hi? Do a scene change. I feel like I haven't done a scene change in a minute on these vlogs, so let's go ahead and take a little quick peek-sees at our bookshelf and see what's going on.
Hey, stop it. No, stop.
Okay, first shelf. Despite my Luna mug, this is our Dresden shelf. That is it. Oh, and my one Jim Butcher book that is out of Dresden Files. Ooh, focus. That's one of his other series, but outside of that, this is all Dresden Files. Sorry, out of breath. This kind of fantasy, although we have one romance in here, Abby Jimenez, basically because it fits with the size, and I don't have a lot of romance books. So here's Just for the Summer, which I did really love. And we have our book note that we worked on right here. Some random stuff. My signed copy of World War Z. If you remember Pain, from Pain, I think that's Pain, that I did for my Hades cosplay. Move him up series so you can see. We've got a couple randos. We've got my signed Dead as a Doornail from Joe Manganiello and Kristen Bauer from DragonCon many a year ago. Mostly classics down here. Some books that I just put on the shelf because I didn't really have space for them. And then this is my very old set of Harry Potter that I've had since I was a wee lass. And nonfictions. Well, of our TBR shelves. Here's my porcelain doll, the one I decided to keep from my Nana's house. She sings. We've got things that have been on my TBR for a hot minute. More recent TBRs. Some more classics that I still intend on reading. More TBRs that if you've been to my channel, you're familiar with them. They're all here. Some that are old, some that are new. These are books that I acquired recently. You've seen most of these. Are Kim Harrison's Neil Gaiman books that I'm trying to get rid of. May just give them away. For She Is Wrath, which I picked up for the Goodreads challenge and thoroughly enjoyed it. And then I have a lot of my writing books, and this is some of my partner stuff. And then over here are like games, campaign books, stuff for TTRPGs. And that is pretty much what we have going on here. You can see from the other direction now. Look at that. We never have this angle. Hello, welcome to the other side of the room, which is not as aesthetically pleasing. So, like I said, there are a couple books that I already know that are going to be in this pile here. Hi, Pops.
Hello.
Hello, hello.
Yeah.
Quite a few that I already know are going to be in this pile that I'm not going to read and I don't intend on reading, and that's just the truth of it all. So I'm already at like half battery because I was filming for another video before this one, so we may have to come back a little later in the day once I've charged this, but we'll get started at least with what we're looking at. Oh, I do think I'm going to put For She Is Wrath on Pango, and not because I didn't love it. I did thoroughly enjoy this book, but I just don't see myself rereading it, and I would love for it to go to somebody else who can enjoy it. So I do really recommend this book. I'll definitely put my Pango at the bottom of this video if you want it. I try to be pretty reasonably priced on Pango and try to be very efficient with getting the books out. So if you want it, I think I'm gonna go ahead and put it on Pango, just because I just don't see myself rereading it, and I would love for someone else to read it because it was really good. I'm going to put this book on Pango. I've had it for a long time. It's written by Blair Money, who does a lot of like social justice work, and she also has a great following of like micro history and micro topics that she does on her channel. I don't think she has a YouTube channel, but at least on her Instagram page she does. So I've had this book for a while. You know, I just think like I've been using it a lot more as a just coffee table book, and I feel like there has to be somebody out there who would like to learn more about modern her story. So I think I'll put that on Pango as well. I'm debating. I am debating. I just don't know if I'm going to read Fable. I just don't know. There has been nothing that has been drawing it to me, and I just don't know if I'm gonna read it, to be honest. Two things I am definitely gonna get rid of on my TBR, finally, because I just don't think it's gonna happen. I have Clash of Kings, and I have the original Game of Thrones book that I have tried to read this book probably 4 or 5 times, but because I watched the first season of Game of Thrones, it was like so similar. Like they took so much directly from the book that I had a hard time getting into it, and I just don't see myself reading these anytime soon. And I think if I do, I'll just maybe pick them up from the library or do an ebook, because they are so heavy that an ebook might just be easier for my neck, spine, my body, my old lady body. So Dark Places by Cheryl Kenyon. I picked this up at DragonCon. I had the goal before to use DragonCon to do a reading challenge, but then life happened, and I just don't see myself reading this because I don't really know anything about Cheryl Kenyon's book, so I feel like I should read something else. So I may just donate this or bring it to my local bookstore, but I do think I'm gonna unhaul it. So funny enough, I picked this up from a used bookstore, and then I started listening to the audiobook, so I just randomly have Bloodbound right now. And since I have been enjoying the audiobooks with the full cast, I don't think I'm going to keep this one because I've just been listening to them on audiobook, so I'm going to unhaul this. Okay, Blood Over Bright Haven by Emma Wong. So I got this in a book box, and I have gotten mixed reviews about this book, but I don't know. We're gonna put this in a maybe, because I haven't gravitated towards it, but Next book on my TBR that I got, you know, Barnes & Nobles was doing that thing, or still doing that thing, where if you buy something at the cafe, you can get a book for $5 and it's like a book every month. I picked up the Saturday Night Ghost Club probably a year and a half, 2 years ago, and just tried to read it. I just didn't really get into it, so I'm just gonna unhaul it. We're just going to do it. The second book that I picked up in Vermont for the Jane Austen experience, The Haunt Your Heart Out. It is from a Vermont author, so it was in like the local Vermont authors. It is an autographed copy, and oh, it has I forgot I had a bookmark. I forgot that these were in here. So, oh, that's so cute. I totally forgot. So I have a Haunt Your Heart Out in beautiful Stowe, Vermont, which was like the biggest city like outside of where the bed and breakfast that we stayed in was at. And then it came with a little bookmark as well. I'm gonna put those back in the book because I intend on reading this in October, obviously. So I am keeping this book. Another one that I've had for like probably a year, and I just don't know. I just honestly don't think I'm gonna read it. Is that bad? That I just like, I picked it up, and I think Katie from Katie Marie, she read this and didn't really enjoy it. And not to say that her and I have like identical taste, but after hearing that she didn't enjoy it, I don't know, I got less enthused about it. And then also, it's like super thick, one of these big books, and I just don't know if I'm in the mood for something like this year. And so I feel like make room on my shelf for things I'm actually gonna read. So, you know, I can always get it again or rent it or whatnot another time from here. But if I really don't think I'm gonna read this or am going to gravitate towards it, I think it's time to just say goodbye. Ooh, this is not a book box. This is, I do want to do this puzzle. We'll probably do this sometime in the summer, because right now I have like the Dark Academia puzzle up on the wall, and this is more like the sci-fi fantasy, and I do feel like it gives more like summer vibes, so I feel like we might do this one for the summer. And we're about to die! We'll see how far we get through it. I'm gonna give this book up. I don't think I'm gonna read it. I think I'm gonna say goodbye to Under the Tuscan Sun. Keeping the goodbye cat. Gonna say goodbye to the second book in Under the Tuscan Sun. For Christ's sakes, I am going to read this book this year. This is my brother's book. He lent me a copy, so I'm keeping it. I promise that eventually I'll read this. That's my TBR shelf. The camera's about to die, so I will check back in with you in a little bit. Hello, I'm back. It's a little dark now because it's a little later. We did some work and went and got a late lunch, and now I'm back, camera fully charged, so we can finish picking the books of which we are going to unhaul. So I'm starting from the bottom up, because the bottom are definitely like older books and books that I haven't read or may never read again, different things like that. So we'll start there and work our way up. This will be interesting. So let's do that at the moment. So I will start with the nonfiction / Harry Potter books. I do have a copy of the Constitution and the Declaration of Independence. I'll be keeping this. I've had this for a while. I don't know how long I've had this, but I've definitely had this for a hot minute. I have a book that I got in Taiwan. It's all in Mandarin. I'll be keeping this. I feel like one day, I am going to give this to another home. This is a Pocket Change Collective Beyond the Gender Binary, and I just feel like it is time for this book to bring somebody else joy. So we're gonna go ahead and put this up on Pango. Okay, the Harry Potter books are staying. I do not intend on buying new Harry Potter books. So like I said, these are all original ones that I bought when I was a kid. Okay, this one Karen gave me for my birthday one year. I have read it. I don't think I'm gonna read it again, so I'm gonna go ahead and say goodbye and say thank you and hope that somebody else will find a little joy. This is Everything I Need to Know I Learned from Dungeons and Dragons. It's kind of like a self-help guide slash memoir by Shelley Mazanoble, who worked for Wizards for a long time. I think she might still work there. But read this one a hot minute ago. So thank you so much. We'll see you later. I'm going to say goodbye to this book. I've had this memoir, the Is Everyone Hanging Out Without Me and Other Concerns by Mindy Kaling, for years and years and years, and I've just never picked it up, so I don't think I'm going to read it. Affections here. We have a nonfiction that I bought a long time ago when I was considering a master's program in international relations, and this is North Korea, Toward a Better Understanding. And yeah, I think we're gonna give it a new home for anybody who is interested in that. It's edited by Sonia Ryang. Another book that I always intended to read, Hello Pumpkin. I always intended to read and just it's not happened. And that is A Brief History in Time by Stephen Hawking. I feel like this is another situation that if I do decide to read it later on, I probably can just pick it up from the library or something like that. I do not need to keep it on my shelves. A recent read that I have that I contemplated on keeping because I thoroughly enjoyed it, but I actually listened to the audiobook and I just don't know if I will reread it or even like go back to it for reference, but just thought it was a really fun time. And that was The Bookshop, A History of the American Bookstore by Evan Friss. Man, the lighting here is so bad. That's a little better. So The Bookshop, A History of the American Bookstore by Evan Friss. So I read this for the Goodreads Challenge as my nonfiction. I really thoroughly enjoyed it. I did listen to the audiobook and learned a lot and had a good time. So I think that although I'm not going to reread it, I'm going to put it up on Pango and hopefully someone else can enjoy it. Okay, so this is kind of a twofer, which I have had this on my list, but realistically I think I would probably listen to the audiobook before I actually pick up the physical book since it is nonfiction, and that's Becoming by Michelle Obama. I also have the companion journal, so I think I'll sell it like as a set if somebody wants it. And yeah, just pick up the audiobook when I decide I'm in the mood for memoir nonfiction, because I just find like that's the easiest way for me to consume nonfiction. And we just gotta be realistic with ourselves here. So this used book I picked up from a local bookstore in St. Pete like a long time ago, and I did start reading it and really enjoyed it. It's Blood and Champagne, The Life and Times of Robert Capa by Alex Kershaw, and Robert Capa was like a famous war photographer. It was interesting, but I never picked it up again, and it's literally been on my shelves for so long, so I think it's time for it to have a new home. Do pumps. Another nonfiction that I think I'm going to put on Pango, this is The Upstandard, How Surviving the Holocaust Sparked Max Globin's Mission to Dismantle Hate, by Jory Epstein and forward by Michael Brennenbaum. He is a very interesting man. He was a survivor of the Warsaw Ghetto and then relocated to Dallas, Texas, after the war and after the Holocaust, and so this Holocaust survivor took a big part in the Holocaust Museum that's in Dallas, and they have a really cool exhibit there where they actually did like a 365 camera and got a bunch of answers from different Holocaust survivors, basically to preserve their memories and have an interactive experience, as we are seeing that many of the Holocaust survivors, just with age, we are unfortunately losing them, and we want to preserve their stories. So this is a book that was sold at the Dallas Holocaust Museum, and I think someone will really love it. So I am going to put this up on Pango. I hope someone picks it up, and I hope you really enjoy it. And if you have a chance to go see that exhibit at the Dallas Holocaust Museum, I definitely recommend it. Okay, another nonfiction I picked up in college that I never, ever, ever read. I've had this book for over 10 years. It is by Park Honan, Christopher Marlowe, poet and spy. Christopher Marlowe had a very interesting history, and I thought I was going to read this, and I never did, and so we're gonna say goodbye. Ooh, ugh. Well, nonfiction's done. We did it already. Feeling good in the neighborhood. Moving on to the next shelf. So just to give you a refresher. So our next shelf is mostly classics. And then we've got just some books that I've tossed on here because I just didn't have a place for them. If you watched my last vlog, I read the book Immortal by Sulin Tan, and it wasn't for me. So she is going on Pango. If it sounds like something you would be interested in, it is a breathtaking standalone romantic fantasy filled with dangerous secrets, forbidden magic, and passion about a young ruler who fights to protect her kingdom. I did not jive with the writing style. Oh, Pumpkin is coming to knock the camera over. Or books over, or a plethora of those like. Okay. We made it through the first jaunt of Pumpkins. Do you think there are people who really enjoyed it? I've seen it both on Storygraph and Goodreads. It got pretty decent reviews. It's just not for me. So hopefully it'll find a good home for somebody who will really appreciate it. I am saying goodbye to because I have another copy of it, not because I didn't like it. And that's Legends and Lattes by Travis Baldree. So I have another copy of it that I got for Christmas. That's like a special edition copy, and it's so cute. It's this one. I think it's from Lit Joy Crate. Yeah, so it's got like Tandry and Viv have a little picnic. It's like all embossed in this cool like faux leather, and then we've got the sprayed edges and then the menu. It's just really cute, and I don't need this copy, so we're gonna say goodbye to this Legends and Lattes, and I hope that somebody who has been interested in reading this book will see it on Panko and pick it up. Okay, moving on. Oh, if you watched my one and only Whistle Down Wishes episode that I've done earlier this year, you'll know I read Little Women and I did not enjoy it, so I'm going to go ahead and send this book along its way to somebody who might enjoy it more. This is a Little Women and Good Wives by Lisa May Alcott. Be enjoy. My copy of The Great Gatsby from high school. Maybe I will go ahead and say goodbye to this one. I don't see myself rereading The Great Gatsby, but if I do, I'm sure I can get it somewhere else. My highlighting, even back in high school, was just like so minimal. I was just not a big highlighter. I just kind of kept it all in my brain and then spit my thoughts out. That's just how. Get it, Pumpkin! I also apparently like to doodle in my old high school books. So there's that. So if you're looking for a silly copy of The Great Gatsby, let me know. If not, somebody bought my Catch-22, which I thought was crazy. So who knows? They might have fun with this too. This is The Picture of Dorian Gray by Oscar Wilde. I've already read The Picture of Dorian Gray a long time ago. I think I rebought this book because I had a much smaller one. But I haven't reread it, and honestly, I don't know if I will. So I'm going to go ahead and say goodbye to it. Make some room for some other books. I'm going to say goodbye to Alice in Wonderland and Through the Looking Glass. I have attempted to read this book so many times and just haven't. And I think it's just time to say goodbye. Same with The Prince. I don't even think I bought this book. I don't know where this came from. I think teacher might have given it to me. And I don't think I'm going to read it. So, goodbye. Cool. Let's keep going. I'm getting rid of The Beautiful and the Damned by F. Scott Fitzgerald. I tried to read this. Hated it. Hated it. I actually was talking to my friend Michelle about it a long time ago, and she was like, same thing. Couldn't stand it. Don't want to read it. Don't care. So, we're going to say goodbye to her. I hand-painted this omnibus edition of some Jane Austen novels. So it's got 4 novels in it. It has Sense and Sensibility, Pride and Prejudice, Emma, and Persuasion. The only thing is, and so I did, go through and started at first to do some highlighting, and I think I just gave up after a while, but like it is a very cumbersome book, and it is like not conducive with like rereads and things like that. I did really love the paintings that I did on this, so I do think I'm gonna put this up on Pango, see if anybody wants it. I mean, it is custom painted. You will not have another book like this one, but I just don't see me rereading it, and it takes up a lot of space on my shelf. So I'm gonna see. We will see. But I did thoroughly enjoy painting this. This was a good time. Okay, so we've cleared out these first 2 shelves. Now on to the next one. These should be faster. I'm not taking anything off this shelf, so that's easy. We aren't even gonna worry about that. There might be a couple things coming from this shelf and then a couple things for this shelf. So we are almost done with the actual like taking out of books. Honestly, feeling pretty good about this situation because I pulled the rest of the books that I think I'm going to say goodbye to, and it's only a few, so that is nice news. That is nice news that we're pretty much at the end of the unhauling portion of this vlog. So this one might be a surprise for some people. I recently read One Dark Window by Rachel Gillig, and I gave it 4 stars. I did enjoy it, but I think the second one I probably will just get on at the library or something like that. I don't think I'll pick up another physical copy, and I don't think I'll keep it. I do think it's a duology, and like I said, I did like it, but I don't think I liked it as much as I thought I was going to, and I just will finish it, but I just don't know if I really want to keep it on my shelf. So I'm gonna give it over to somebody who maybe is looking to read it and wants to go ahead and get it secondhand. Another book that I enjoyed, but I don't know if I'm going to keep the book, just because I don't see myself rereading it, is The Witch Would Not by Olivia Atwater. This is a Victorian fairy novel. I read it for a book challenge, maybe Summerween or Winterween. What are those two? Probably, I think it was Winterween. I read it for Winterween and I liked it. And I intend on reading more in the series. And then I also intend on reading the previous series that was a Regency novel. But again, I just don't see myself rereading this. And although I did enjoy it, I wouldn't say it was like a must-have book for me. And so I think I'm going to send it off to another home. And then we shall see, you know, how I acquire the other books and what I will do. But I don't know. Just my mind is saying let it go. So here we are, letting it go. Another book I picked up at a used bookstore, I think this one was Mojo's in Tampa, when I was doing a lot of stints in Tampa, and that is The Bone Season by Samantha Shannon. So I do think this is not the edited version. This is like the older version. And I don't know, I just haven't wanted to pick it up. Don't really want to, I guess. I don't know. I just really haven't wanted to. It's taking up space on my shelves and I just can't see myself choosing to do it. So I think we're just gonna say goodbye to this one. And if anybody maybe has like one of these older versions and would like to have like the full size, it means that put up on Pango, see what people think. But yeah, I just don't know. It says, for the past 200 years, the Scion government has led an oppressive campaign against unnaturalness in London. Clairvoyance in all its forms has been decreed a criminal offense, and those who practice it have been forced underground to avoid vicious punishment. A clairvoyant underworld has developed, combating persecution and evading capture. Paige Mahoney, a powerful dreamwalker operating the Seven Dials district of London, lives a double life, using her unnaturalness illegally while hiding her gift from her father, who works high up in the Scion regime. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why I'm not interested in it, but I'm just not. So this actually should be on my TBR shelf, but I think I just didn't have room on the TBR shelf for it, so I was just like, okay. Another book that I read this year, I got this from my Once Upon a book box. Once upon a I always have a problem with this. I'll just put it here. Am I crooked? I feel a little crooked. Okay. So that's She Doesn't Have a Clue by Jenny Elder Moak. And this is a cute little rom-com mystery in a castle. It's a second chance romance. It was a good little time. I'm not going to reread this, so I'm going to send this off and hope somebody else has a good little time with it. Three more. So this is the first book in the Becky Chambers, what is the name of this ship? It's like a trilogy. I forget what they call it. I enjoyed this book more than I thought. So it is basically about this crew on this ship whose name, the Wayfarer series. So this is the first book in the Wayfarer series. I did really like this. It was different than I thought it was going to be. It has a somewhat linear plot, but we also are like bouncing around to different members of the crew on this ship, and it was really cute. However, the second book I saw is like not going to be on the ship and is picking up with a crew member who is no longer on the ship, and that's all I'll say. So I just wasn't really interested in that second story, so I haven't gotten it. But I did really, really like this. I just don't know if I would reread it, and I felt like somebody else might really like this, so I think I'm going to go ahead and say goodbye to it. I already discussed this in another vlog, but I am getting a set from from Owl Crate of all 3 of the Emily Wilds books. So since I am going to have 2 copies of this, I think I'm going to say goodbye to this one now. So if you want the hardcover edition of Map of the Otherlands, it's going to be on my Pango. The final book that I wasn't sure if I was going to put up on Pango, but I think I might, even though there is another one coming out. But I just don't know. I don't know. Maybe I'll keep this one because I'm still contemplating if I want to keep it or not. This is The God and the Gumio by Sophie Kim. It is basically like a magical realism K-drama in a book. I think I gave it like 3.5 stars. I did really enjoy the story. I think sometimes the writing was a little weird for me, but I am going to pick up the next one, and I don't know, maybe I will keep this one. I do really like this cover, and I have kind of attachment to this book. I don't know why, but I think we'll keep this one for now. I think I've talked myself into it. So, with that, I think those are all the books that we're going to say goodbye to on our shelves. A big unhaul, honestly. So let me count how many books that is. I counted 40, exactly, which is nice to have a nice round number. So that's 40 books we intend to remove from our shelves. That's big. Yeah, so I am going to get my bed up so I can put books back that need to go back, and I will check in with you tomorrow.
시간은 흘러 이젠 여기까지 Feels better that we're on a separate ways Our memories faded Sometimes I think of you 너 없이 뭔가 좀 공허해 난 날이 무뎌지는 그 감각에 어느새 집중돼 Lost but prefer not to be found 건너면서 든 생각 없어 맘에 드는 사람 넌 나만이 컸어 그냥 뒀어 외로운 그 맘은 불 붙여 지활화탄에 붉고 서서히 태가네 다리 밑 주저앉아 순식간에 지나가 시간 그냥 what's up 후회할 순 없어 어지러워 외정
Just in case I wasn't recording. So I finished putting the books back up on the bookshelf. I did put the books that I am going to get rid of back on the shelves, but they're in cubbies that I know are going to be those books, just so they're not on the floor. because I don't like to leave things on the floor unless absolutely necessary. So let's just go briefly through the shelves, and then it'll be time to do Pango tomorrow. Actually moved the Dresden Files series. So this is currently a TBR with some of the paperback books and then the two comparisons. So I just kind of moved those all over to the bookshelf. So hello, Rumps. So I did put Dead Witch Walking back up here just because I want to keep the comparison with the comparison. And then behind Luna, I've got Wuthering Heights, The Duke Gets Desperate, Interview with a Vampire, and Guilty Pleasures. So I just left those over here. The next shelf probably changed the least. So most of the books that were already there are on here. I put these up here for now. Kept the book nook up here. And yeah, this one really didn't change much. I did add a couple books that were one shelf down in here, and so it's now very full and nice and tight. Keep everything up. So left my decorations here, put those lights on just for you to see. And then yeah, I moved Butcher down here because it was pretty stacked and you couldn't see these books very well, and then I had the hardbacks over here, so I figured this was just like a better use of the space. And then I kept Patricia Briggs, my Alpha and Omega Crywolf Volume 1 signed copy that I got from DragonCon over here, along with another little thing from DragonCon, and then the little paper mache thing we got in there. So that is over there. I think it works a lot better. I think eventually it will try to get like all of the books in one size. I don't know. It's an amalgamation of different things. Next is our big TBR shelf. So these were all the books that I decided to keep for my TBR. So they are all here, ready and rearing to be read. So a nice one place to find them outside of those couple that are at the top. And then finally, at the bottom here, I've migrated my classics to be with my Harry Potter books and the one nonfiction we have, and then kept on writing down here for now. I'm gonna figure out what to do with those later. I added this own little cubby. I went ahead and put like the sea creatures and mythical sea creatures and everything with Persuasion, because Persuasion is about like naval captains and seas, so I thought it was pretty on point. And then this is my little Nana's corner. So there's my Nana, the porcelain doll, and then she gave this music box to me a long time ago. I put Legends and Lattes up here. I know the goblet isn't a coffee cup, but I thought it went pretty well. And then, as I mentioned, these 4 cubbies are the books that we will be getting rid of. So they are off the floor, but I know where they're at. But yeah, I'm glad we got that accomplished today. I feel good about it. So I will check back with you tomorrow to see whatever I decide, because I'm warm and ready to take a break. Hello. Hello, hello. It is Thursday, April 24th. Yeah, April 24th. It's been a couple days since we did our book unhaul. I haven't really had the chance to do the Pango setup yet. I feel bad, I disturbed Pumps. She had a little hairball incident a little earlier. Did it have some waters? So I brought her some waters up here in case she was thirsty. Leave that alone. Leave it alone. Yeah, leave that one alone. Can I go check out the other window? Sorry. Anyway, what was I saying? Okay, so I haven't had a chance to do our Pango uploads yet. I think maybe I will save that for another vlog, because I have a feeling this vlog is actually going to be a little bit longer than I anticipated just with the unhaul. So I think we're gonna wrap it up here for this week. Call it a wrap. I'll probably do the Pango unhaul maybe next week. We do have some things planned, but I think the Pango putting up of books on Pango will be a next week activity. I don't think it'll be a this week activity, just the way things are going. But with that in mind, Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to give it a thumbs up. If you're doing like a spring cleaning book haul, let me know. Let me know how many books you are donating or selling or whatnot. I'd love to hear it. And if you want to stick around for some more Bookish Enders content, feel free to subscribe. I upload every Friday. We're back on track. And of course, until next time, I hope you read a good book, I hope you find some joy, and most importantly, I hope you do something to make the world a better place, and I will see you in my next one. Bye!